The world was overrun. The dead became restless and flocked the streets, consuming all who tried to stop them in their rampant approach. The US military decided that they would try to hold off the zombies for as long as they could at this nearby river. However, reports had come in that there were 1 million zombies headed on their way. Could these soldiers defend their home? Let's find out. So here we are with another Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator video. Notice that the last one that I posted actually was doing fairly well, so I thought, oh, why not make another one, because it seems like you guys are enjoying it. So yeah, we have a whole bunch of small firing squads at these bridges here, getting a nice choke point defense. Well, then we have other elevated areas. They're also holding out with a bit more troops. And then finally, at the gates of the city itself is an entire battalion of US soldiers, all holding the city walls, or holding the gates to prevent the zombies from coming. So have soldiers over here just in case they decide to come around this way, because there's so many zombies that they might decide to go, that coming over this way is going to be faster than waiting to go in line here, but it might take a while. And also they're a bit more of a flank watch, so they don't get overrun. So well, they have that. There's also a group over here doing the same thing, and then basically all the units over on this side of the city walls are on flank watch to prevent them getting in from that side. So as we see here, the zombies are actually making a fair bit of a pile up, which probably might help because it would provide some cover for zombies behind them. But as we see, a lot of the bodies are also slipping down into the ocean, where they're forming a pile of their own. We're also falling into the off the side of the bridge, which would be interesting if they create a pile of bodies on either side of the bridge so large that the bridge is even wider. And as we see here, flank watch is coming in handy now, as zombies are trying to make their way across. This elevated firing area might give them a decent advantage. We see over here, this area is actually a lot closer together between the two bridges, so these soldiers might be able to give each other firing support, which will be handy if they get overrun. Well, these soldiers lie in wait and watch, just in case their comrades at the front lines fail. The way this is progressing, it might take a while for us to see some new action, so I'll keep you posted in case anything happens. But for now, I'm going to find a nice little spot. Probably over here is where I'm going to kind of watch it. Do a little bit of time lapse, because it seems to be where the zombies are making the most amount of progress. So do a little time lapse here. Well, it looks like not much has happened on the bridge, but there's definitely some walls and piles forming up for the zombies to hide behind. But now getting a good look at the side of the bridge, it definitely does seem like the United States Army is doing fairly well against the zombie threat. If we go over here, you see a bit of the same, but the zombies are actually making the bridge wider by just dying all over, which may be handy for them. We see here more or less the same thing, except they're expanding more into the side of the bridge. Well, over here they're not really forming too big of a pile yet. However, they are beginning one. And if we fly all the way over to this side, we see that the zombies still haven't been coming here en masse yet, probably because this only allows a certain amount to come over at a time. So the flank watch actually is doing fairly well. So yeah, also see that over here, the American soldiers are firing down on the enemy. Pretty good, giving these guys support fire. But if things continue on the way they are going, it should be an easy victory for the American soldiers. So if this is too easy for them, you can always buff the numbers. Buff the numbers of the zombies to make the fight a little bit more, or at the very least give them a flanking route over here that the American army can get back. How don't we do that? Just take a small amount like that, tell them to go over here. So plenty of zombies over there. Without proper flank watch, things can get right into this, also make it harder to make their way over there. I'm going to just over here. Yeah, lots of zombies. Another thing that we could do is like there's a whole lot of these towns that have these little walls that might be an interesting defense. Might be an interesting defense. Like over here, got some walled off sections, as well as over here. Then there's another fortress all the way over here, which could be fairly interesting for a defense. Anyway, over here, we see that they are forming a position. They're not actually moving, so what I'm going to have to do is put them on attack. Should be able to get them to start flanking around. You never know, these might be intelligent zombies. I just find it interesting that there's so many dying this way that it's forming a little sloping wall. Well, over here, they're actually getting across now. They've made the walls of the bridge so wide now that they can just run along. And if the soldiers are distracted by the ones on the bridge, it might be a little way for them to sneak up. But we see over here, it's taking a lot longer for that to happen. When we go over here, we see that, yeah, it's a start. Body pile. This flank watch has actually been fairly good. However, if this flank watch is to be utilized like I originally wanted it to, we're going to need to have a lot more zombies. It may be interesting because if they choose to go on this landmass over here and then cross the bridges over here, it's a nice little flank. However, they do have the guys in the city, but also this line over here, which could also be turned into like an artillery firing point, if needs be. Just not quite enough space for all the zombies to go off at once, so they're kind of bunching up right here. But the more zombies that die, the more bodies that fall down, the more that can collect inside this little corner. And the more that collect here, well, the higher the zombies will get, and the more at risk of being shot at they are, but they will have an easier time getting up this this small cliff face. But there's also just so many zombies over this way. However, this bridge might take a little bit longer to get anywhere, seeing as it is developing its bridge, the expanded bridge, at a much slower rate because it's so wide already. While over here we kind of had the benefit of it being narrow and fast, with a little bit to the side here, but that's probably because so many zombies taking it. Like as we see here, there's a fair bit of zombies that piled up. Well, I didn't notice this, but it looks like there was an entire wing of them standing out here. This zombie attack over here seems to be ending fairly soon. I think what we'll do over here, because this flank watch isn't really entirely needed and can be used to flank the enemy, we're going to set them to attack, as well as the ones over here to attack, and also you go attack. It's a little bit of a flanking maneuver. Well, it's basically going to ensure the victory of the US soldiers, as soon as they secure this flank, they can move more resources down here. And this flank is basically, or this bridge is basically secure now. So now that this area is secure, we can have more joining the fight. So you run across piles of bodies that they made. Over here, the zombies get ever closer, and reinforcements will actually be helpful. Meanwhile, our little flank here is actually assaulting the force guarding the city gates. Not quite what we intended, but we can change that. So we see this defense is going fairly well in all terms. So yeah, and here we have the assisting units coming in. Not really flanking. Well, actually, there is a force going out and flanking them. So we're going to select you, and now that you're free, you can go in and fight. And all the zombies are now showing up here, like they were intended. But there's ever more zombies showing up that are also just running past these guys, which they get fairly far, but it's not the most effective way. I mean, while here seems to be kind of working, they're getting a few hits on soldiers, but unlike in the first Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, the zombies don't convert units, which made the zombies a little bit more threatening, because you didn't, they were weak, but if they got to your forces, they could easily take them out just by converting the entire enemy army. Sending all these guys over there. So you guys can go on the attack now. This basically is a win for the army. So probably want to spice things up by giving zombies more numbers, as well as maybe starting them off with this little flank over here. We're probably giving a small contingent of soldiers over here to maybe stave them off. Don't know. We'll see. Also, it looks like we got the flash flood weather, which is one of the new weather patterns, because the water here isn't supposed to be this high. It isn't really supposed to be in there as well. Though what would be interesting is if there was a way to have snow fall on the ground and actually make the ground snowy. Don't know how that would affect performance, but I just think it would be interesting. And they're basically just pushing back the zombies now. The zombies actually got 26 kills. That's not bad considering what they were up against. Those kills were probably all over here, and maybe, just maybe, over here. There's a few dudes here that can be joining the fight. Zombies are now in full retreat. Well, some of them are in full, but most of them are in full retreat. Why they're retreating, we don't know. Maybe like I said, they're smart zombies. Nice little firing from a defensive position. Well, the zombies are on the run. Why these ones are just standing around is, I don't really know. They seem to be just lining up. Maybe they're smart in other ways. You never know. Oh, but their retreat has been denied. Yeah, the US Army came around and closed off their retreat. And the only way for them to go is down that way, but who knows what might be down that way. Might be trolls. That wouldn't be fun for zombies. And there we go. Fairly nice victory, so let's go and buff those numbers of the zombies. Well, folks, here we are again. About a week later, the zombies came back in greater numbers, so we decided to throw everyone back to where they were before. So, yeah. Here we go. See, they're a lot farther around now. So now, taking this flank watch, we'll actually won't have to tell them to do that. However, adding the extra zombies in front means that we couldn't add any more soldiers watching the flanks. So, yeah, it'll just have to be an extra variable that we'll be able to see. Well, see what happens. Is that the zombies aren't quite taking the flank yet. Probably will once everyone gets over there. So we'll see what happens this round of this time. So here, just the beginning of what could be another body bridge. Benefits of using zombies. If there's irritating body of water in the way, they'll get over it sooner or later. So here the zombies are going through this abandoned town, are making their way towards the soldiers guarding the city over here. Over there, taking the mountain route, it seems, or wanting to take the mountain route. Gotten here already, so this may be interesting, because if these guys fall, then these guys over here, if they're previously engaged with the ones over here, that's like a battle on two fronts, which doesn't typically go too well when you're on the defensive. Meanwhile, it is also a question of whether or not these guys will fall, because they did pretty good before, but now we have over double the amount of zombies on the field. You see here that the flanks are coming into the works, just not quite fast enough to fill up this area. And then these guys seem to be doing all fine for now. It would be interesting if they decide to go up and around, but we'll see if that happens or not. I think we might do a little bit of a time lapse over here, just to kind of watch how the bridge of bodies grow. So, well, it doesn't look like too much has happened yet. Kind of interesting, though, and as we see here, not a whole lot has happened in the way of extra bridges, but we look over here. Looks like the zombies are stuck. Maybe seem to have gotten stuck, so we might need to give them a hand. You can all just come down this way. It looks like there's some coming up this way, so it's interesting. Let's see. There is a force coming up this way, but it's not really enough to upset the balance of stuff. We really need to find a smoother way up, but we'll see if they find out where that is. So we go over here. See, kind of the same formation as zombies run over here to get up on the bridge. They're kind of leaving this little wing shape, giving some zombies a little bit of cover. Meanwhile, if we look under the water here, notice that they're building a bit of a coastline out of their own bodies. Over here, this flank watch is actually doing fairly well. It's holding its own. You know, these guys are still kind of just sitting, so I think we'll do this half, tell them to go this way. There's a bunch trying to sneak around this cliff face, it seems. By accident or by choice. Doesn't look like they'll get too far though. No, they haven't decided to go around. It'll be interesting if they ever decide to do that. But so far that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. All over here, these zombies are getting shot at because there's like almost a direct line of sight from here to there. So that's good for the US soldiers. Not great for the zombies. And wow, you take your eyes off it and it immediately starts doing better. Well, over here it's sort of the same thing, just not quite the same at the same time. Well, over here they were under attack. You kind of missed that. They've killed 93 soldiers, the zombies have. Meanwhile, these zombies are gathering over here. Huge amount of zombies gathering over here. So looking over here, it looks like the zombies are piling up a fair bit around the sides of the bridge, so we might get a wider bridge at some point, but that might be slow considering the slow trickle in of zombies right now. Well, if we look over here, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but it looks like they're starting to create a fair amount of bodies. They just need to add more in that one dip area. Meanwhile, over here, it's basically already happened, but it's not quite high enough for the zombies over here to get up onto that cliff, unfortunately. So they're kind of stuck down there until more bodies fill in the gap. While over here we have sort of the same thing, except they actually seem to be getting farther, maybe because more soldiers are firing down over here, and across over here. So more being able to sneak across. Meanwhile, over here we have this group that needs to be taken care of. I think it's because there's so many that the AI kind of forgets what it's doing for a second. So I mean, that's what I think could be happening, but it might not be what's actually happening. Meanwhile, looks like there were some zombies that were kind of tumbling down, but because they fell. Probably should tell these guys to go do something, tell them to go over there. These guys are kind of just sitting, but the more that are over here, the less that are actually climbing up here. So, I don't know. I guess for now, they can kind of stay, but after a while, they're probably going to need to go do something else. If we look over here, these soldiers are actually getting fairly hit from the side, but because they have a whole lot of guys on the roof and stuff, it might be kind of like their saving grace, because there's so many different firing levels. But so far, everything seems to be going well for the U.S. soldiers. We're now being able to climb up here, but the more they get shot down over here, the more that fill up this little area, and then the more that can climb over. So we'll see what happens to that. And over here, the zombies are actually getting in fairly close now, making the soldiers have to decide where they're going to focus their fire. But they seem to be doing fairly well. It doesn't help that they also created the body piles that they create also provide cover for the zombies behind the body pile. But that's just something that can't be helped easily. And over here, you see sort of a slow growth, but not really fast. It's probably because of the slow trickle compared to other areas, rather than the having a massive amount of soldiers on the other side. Well, over here, it does seem to be fairly effective, as the zombies aren't really getting all that far across the bridge. They got a little bit over halfway for most of them, and there were a few that got a bit farther, but seem to be holding their own, which is pretty good. And we have the zombies that decided to go over this way, which is interesting, to say the least. Well, just all it really means for the soldiers that there's just more coming over at one time. Well, over here we've got a small pile up waiting to get across the bridge, and the slow trickle over here, or relatively slow trickle, isn't making it too big of a threat right now. The benefit about the fact that they chose this river makes it harder for the zombies to flood them. Like if we were to go over across here, you wouldn't have to worry so much about this happening, because you have the river on your side and the zombies have to cross the river to get to you. While instead of this is just a wide open plain where the zombies can just move and attack and get stuck apparently. Well, these might not be the smartest zombies. Probably failed high school or something. But if we look over here, there's no more zombies actually filling in this area. They're all just diverting down this way. However, because these guys aren't firing down here, well, there is a little bit of fire going down there. So I'll do it coming from those guys up there. That's sort of hitting these guys, but not enough to actually slow them down. Well, it looks like the slow building of the bridge has gotten a little bit faster, and now as more zombies are able to charge across it. Meanwhile, over here, things have gotten fairly desperate or well, not desperate, but a little bit more complicated, as they have to keep the ones on the bridge away, but also these guys are just kind of climbing over. We'll find out what happens, but it's definitely going to be interesting. You know, these guys, it looks like they're going toe-to-toe with the zombies almost now. Now that the zombies actually have a safe area to climb up and go over. And that can only get wider as more bodies slide down into the watery depths. Now, over here, they're just charging across, and it seems to be working a little bit. And our flanks seem to be well covered, and there's not too much going on to cause alarm. So yeah, I guess the question is, if you were on any of these positions, whether it's position a little bit further back or position up by the front, where would you be if you could choose? Would you be up in the front? Would you be up on elevated firing area to give support fire, and in case the zombies get past the bridges, be able to hold off the zombies a little bit longer? Or would you be at the gates of the city itself in case everything goes south and the zombies just took over the bridges and the elevated firing areas? So where would you guys be if you could choose? I think for me, I probably would want to be at the bridge or something, holding off the zombies. It seems to be working. However, it is slowly becoming more and more desperate as time goes on, and the zombies have killed 166 soldiers. Well, slowly increasing, but they've killed a small amount of soldiers, while the soldiers have killed roughly around a million, I think. I mean, they just kind of, I think they just dropped into the 1 million now, so they lost around half their army. So all the guys you see around these bridges, that's around a collective million, if not, or maybe not quite a million, or maybe 100,000, or maybe a million. See, this area is definitely being slowly overrun. This would be like the second night, I would think. Second or third night of the defense, which is interesting with the day and night cycle that we have. You can actually kind of see the passage of time and actually enjoy tracer effects, something that they didn't have inside UBS1, which, if you guys are interested in seeing Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 1, let me know. It would be interesting. This guy's got quite the view of everything going on. You can see like almost all the battle areas. Meanwhile, spouting off their patriotic battle cries, it's actually gotten pretty bad over here. Zombies are actually getting through. They're actually breaking through and stuff. So all we really needed to see the collapse of these bridges was more units. And if this bridge falls, then this bridge would fall, because these two are so closely connected. And then if this bridge falls, these areas are under attack, as well as here. But over here, you might be able to support both of these advanced firing positions. Well, these guys seem to be holding their own fairly well. They're just kind of creating a blanket out of these zombies. Over here, the zombies are making a bit of work, but not a whole lot yet. Meanwhile, this flank watch is actually having some of the least amount of struggle. You think that the flank watch would have it hard, but they seem to be having the easiest job. The direct attack, that's going fairly well for the zombies. Yeah, I think we can just say that this bridge defense over here, while they fought valiantly, the zombies just kept coming. There wasn't really anything that they could do to really halt them. It's just kind of slowed down their progress enough, but not really stop them. And now we see here that they're splitting off, coming in at the side, doing a fair amount of damage as they collide with the soldiers. And the soldiers are all not ready for that, because they were needing those soldiers over there to hold their position. But now that those soldiers are basically overrun, these guys have to divert their fire to their flank, which is less fire at the bridge, which means more can cross over at the bridge and stuff. It's now become a really bad situation for the bridge guards. Well, we have the last defense of these guys over here. Here we go. The first bridge has fallen, and all the other bridges will fall faster because of that, or something else will happen. So now the zombies can either go and attack here or attack here, and it seems like they're all choosing to attack the closer target, which actually is a better strategic move, because you'll be able to get your units across 2 venues instead of just 1. However, the soldiers are fighting. They're doing fairly well. If you look over here, these soldiers are still fighting fighting fairly well. They're actually doing a really good job, but if the bridges are overrun, it's just going to make it harder for them, because they have to defend more areas. If these guys are doing okay, it's definitely going to become a problem if all of the advanced positions fell and the zombies just climb up this hill like it's nothing. But we'll see how things turn out. These guys still haven't moved, so I'm just gonna go over there. Actually, you guys go there, right? And these guys are just getting absolutely surrounded right now, which is rather unfortunate. You see that the zombies have decided to engage this firing platform, which is going to make things a little bit more difficult, as there won't be as much supporting fire, but they're doing their job. I mean, they're supposed to stop the zombies before they get to the city. These guys are able to give them some supportive fire. Not a whole lot, though. I mean, at least not yet. And it's time to witness another fall of a bridge. These guys fought valiantly, but yeah, just far too many zombies. That second bridge has fallen, but this firing platform has a bit of an advantage because it's they have a sheer cliff that's going to prevent them from going straight to them, so they have to go, the zombies have to go around, meaning more choke points. However, these flank guard positions might have to deal with more zombies. But we'll see what comes to that. This bridge has almost capitulated. They just got a few remaining soldiers holding position. Well, if we look over here, yep, still a lot more zombies waiting to cross. If you leave them alone long enough, they probably will create bridges of their own. They've kind of gotten this far. You just need to go that way, and there's another way across that can get slowly wider and wider. Just a few soldiers fighting on the rooftops. This area is getting overrun fairly quickly, but they seem to be holding. It might be difficult for them because of how many zombies are coming across. But over here actually is holding fairly well. The zombies aren't getting too close, mostly. Probably now is a good time for a time lapse. Probably go kind of over here, kind of watching the advance of the zombies. And yeah, we'll do a little time lapse here. Well, it's certainly been a bit, so if we... Oh, that's quite the change. Went from a little hill to a big hill. And, well, they didn't make a whole lot of progress, but they kind of have this little area that they can run towards the soldiers uncontested. Flank watch seems to be doing fairly well. We look over here. This area is also completely overrun, as this area is actually doing fairly okay, I guess. Well, it's not doing all that well. All over here, this area seems to be holding out. However, if this area gets overrun, there's going to be a lot more coming up this way. So, something that's going to change. Well, over here, we've got a little bit of support fire going out here, but it's kind of a bit too late now. The last of the soldiers over here holding out on the rooftop would be an epic last stand. They can only get one way to you. Your gun's fully out, you have a whole lot of ammo. Can't really do a whole lot to get you. These guys are actually still alive and doing pretty good, actually. Taking a few shots out, doing their part to help slow the zombie advance. Seem to be doing a whole lot, though. Still zombies coming over this way. Very nice. some time has passed, and yeah, we kind of watching the battlefield. We see that the zombies are starting to overrun this forward position over here, while they have started to come over here to this forward position. However, they seem to be doing pretty okay as they're only approaching one spot. Well, this position over here is getting a bit surrounded, as the zombies are now just climbing over the cliff wall, while also coming around here. Meanwhile, the river is flooding a bit, causing zombies to die, but also they're creating a bit of a road to get across the river. Meanwhile, over here, they're widening out this bridge, but the more zombies that die in the water, the more the bottom level rises, the more likely that it could spill over river walls, drowning more zombies, which is kind of interesting concept because they're already dead. And maybe they are, or it's just a virus. Maybe it's just a parasitic infection or invasion. Well, this city gate's still standing at a pretty good spot, despite everything. See here, this position was overrun, but not empty. Got quite a few soldiers doing their finest to help out soldiers over here, which seem to be doing fairly good. Well, they were doing fairly good. It's gotten quite overrun the last little bit. While the city gate over here has started to open fire, helping the soldiers over here, but not by a whole lot. Well, over here, zombies are kind of slowing down a little bit. There's less coming in, but that might change as soon as that area falls, or this area falls. Actually, they'll have a few more areas to come up. And these, I guess, if you wanted to have the area with the least amount of trouble, the flank watch is where you want to be, because I haven't seen a whole lot of action for these guys. Well, they certainly did their job well. Did a good job of getting rid of the zombies. That's probably why the river is flooding over here. Just a little too effective at their job. Well, over here we have probably more of the same deal. A little bit less, it seems. Because you didn't really have to. The zombies didn't really come this way first, so we have the zombies over here doing fairly good. These ones seem to have decided that the area over here is good. They're fine. They're don't need to move. Yeah, honestly, if they keep doing their job, the bridge is you won't have to worry about the bridges. You have to worry more about flooding, which probably won't be too much of a problem, as long as, well, seeing as these guys are mostly on a raised area, you don't have to worry too much about water. But if it gets over the bridge, it might make the zombies have to reconsider their approach. Again, these are zombies, and we don't know if they think, or even if they think about it. Kind of do a little time lapse here at this last little stand. Well, here we are. It looks like they're trying to get to the guys on the rooftops. I guess once they get the ones that they can reach, they'll probably move on, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, now the flank watch is actually having to put their work in because they're kind of getting flanked. except not by the way that they were guarded, but from the side. Thankfully, we have an entire force up here, ready to fire down on the enemy if they get too close, and all the entrances to the city on this side are all guarded. But more, well, it looks like the zombies have decided that they've gotten all that they can really get. Well, somewhat. Looks like they came back. This area is quickly dissolving under the attack of the zombies. The bridge is almost underwater at this point. Maybe we can cause it to flood a little bit more with these zombies over here. Well, we see that the zombies are actually running out of troops to throw at their enemies. The tide of zombies is actually slowly coming to a halt. We've seen the last of the zombies on this side charge over the bridge. We want to be one of these guys. There's just too many zombies. And most of them are just standing there looking menacingly. And this guy is probably going to be standing on some wood roofing. Probably not the most sturdy. Guess that gives them a bit of, well, not really safe, but they can't really climb up to him from below, so he's gone though. Well, they actually managed to hold their own, which is pretty good for these guys over here. While this lake might make traversal for the zombies a bit interesting, but not deep enough to cause them to stop walking there. It's a little bit unfortunate because that would be a huge amount of land that they would walk on because it was flooded. Meanwhile, over here, the zombies are making one big assault. Very interesting how they don't go the other way. Well, they haven't thought to go the other way yet. But they're starting to show up on here, but most of them are coming over this way, and they're starting to climb up on the houses. So yeah, and all these guys are just kind of chilling on the rooftops. They seem to be fine, though some of them are seeming to be consumed by the house, or they're just born with no legs. Either way, they probably won't be getting down from there. And all the zombies here are all gunning for these guys up here, and after a bit they seem to decide that they can't get up to these guys, so they move on to someone else. It's easier to get at. Well, now that they've seem to have left that area. Oh, there's more charging over here now. Probably coming over from over here, seeing that there's an open spot for them to charge through. Maybe we can save these guys by ordering them to get to the city. We go over that way. Have to outrun the horde, which may be possible, and it seems to be the case, as long as they don't stuck on anything. Managed to get up there, then they kind of gotten to safety, but at the same time led a small horde away from where the over here, which could be beneficial. Well, these guys are slowly getting surrounded by zombies. These guys are at risk of getting flooded out, so they're going to get the order to retreat to higher ground. Which would be, I was going to say, up here. Some guys here opted to stay behind, but staying behind would be certain death. We don't want to save as many soldiers as we can here. And as they go, these guys will be able to fire down upon the zombies, giving them a little bit of cover fire, which will be really beneficial. Well, it seems like they managed to get there, but they were quickly surrounded and managed to divert the attention of the main horde over here, which is going to be helpful in the long run, as it's less of a battle trying to fight on two fronts, when one front is considerably weaker than the other front. Meanwhile, over here we have fairly good the city defense is working very well. As we see, the wall of bodies is starting to pile up. Meanwhile, over here, this defense is still working very well, despite their forward bases were overrun. However, these zombies must get really content with just standing around. But that does not make for good business, or does not make for a good show. So they're all going to have to start moving. We have a little pyramid over here. What was causing them to die over here? Why is there just a random pyramid? Also here as well. It's weird. It's nice to see that these guys are still around. They managed to survive through the entire battle. The zombies don't really seem to care too much about them. But we see here that the zombies have run out of soldiers to send over these bridges now. Our defenses are working. No zombies have stepped into the main city, so we're fairly good for now. But we had to pull back our defenses because they were going to get overrun fairly easily if things kept going the way they were. Well, they were not fairly easy for these guys over here, but their major danger was getting flooded out. That wouldn't have been very good for their health. Well, over here, they actually managed to get a decent amount of zombies taken out with them, so that's pretty good for them. See here, there's just a small trickle of enemies coming in. They're doing fairly well at keeping those enemies at bay. Over here, we see, well, not much has really changed. Zombies are coming in at a much slower rate due to there not being quite as many zombies as there were before. And these guys are all okay. This area actually managed to hold. There we go. More zombies all the way over here. But, however, we're at the point where we can probably start sending out, or well, maybe not. There's still like plenty of zombies in certain areas. We can actually, maybe we can probably start sending out soldiers to help take care of these. Help kind of finish them off a little bit. Set these guys to attack, and I think now we take the fight to the zombies. Now that we've held them off for a good long time, actually. Just kind of start pushing on this side. Now if we see these soldiers to attack. These guys can also start attacking now. Seem to making shapes again. And all those guys go over there. It's time to avenge their fallen brethren. Well, this has been quite an interesting battle through everything, and I am I'm starting to run out of time, but I think we can see who's going to win this battle. I think it is quite clear that the U.S. Army has this under control now, so we can just leave it up to them. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and yeah, if you enjoyed this, feel free to let me know through comments or likes, and if you're feeling generous, feel free to just subscribe. It's free and you can cancel anytime. And yeah, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.